Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, everyone. So glad to have you here on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. So glad to see you today. Tina, how are you today?
I am awesome. Blessed to be here in the land of the living.
Thank you, Lord. And you know what? It's a lot to say that. That's a mouthful to be here in the land of the living. Because there's so much happening across the land and across the world, and so much prayer is needed because people are losing their lives in unforeseen, unpredictable circumstances that you can't prepare for some of these things that's happening in this world. And I don't know if it's me, but it seems like so much more is happening, and maybe it's just because it's in my time frame that I'm.
No, it's a lot going on just in general in life. Every time you turn on the news, something going on.
And the thing is, I know people talk oftentimes about the news and saying, oh, don't watch the news, don't turn on the news. But the news is informing us of what's happening around the world, too. So right. Even though I don't want to spend so much time just honing in and focusing on it every waking moment, I do want to be educated and understand what is happening in my surroundings, too.
Right.
This is crazy. And this week, and I know you all may be watching a replay of this, if that's the case, and it's not the week of August, what is this, August 30th or whatever?
30th, yeah.
Right. So this week in 2023, my son attends University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. It's his final semester there. And on this week, there was a gunman that went in and shot a faculty member at the school in the building that my son is normally in. Every day he's in this building, he's in the hallway waiting to officially go to his next class. And this one day, Sheena, one day, he decided not to go.
Wow.
So he wasn't in the building on this particular incident, but a faculty member passed away as a result of someone taking his life. That's a lot.
That's a lot because he wasn't there, so it was an angel guiding him not to be there that day.
In my opinion, I believe that. I do believe that, and I think God actually, I personally think he spared the situation for me in my heart.
Right.
I'm just grateful for that. I had so many emotions and things happening physically that day after hearing what was happening real time, and I was trying to share it with the rest of the community based on some of the internal school communication, which somebody had been apprehended. It wasn't the same person that was doing the gunman. It was a lot of factors.
Wow.
But anyway, today we are talking about unmasking ourselves, and we have Sheena Godine, because her last name is French, right?
Yes.
Godine. Sheena Godine is here with us. She came here on the Kim Jacobs Show before and talked about her first book, but today we're going to talk about just being our authentic selves. And that's why I shared some of what I just shared with you. That's just authentically what's happening in my own life. And it's a big deal for our family and for the families of all of those students that were impacted by somebody coming on the campus and just shooting and killing somebody. That puts extra fear in people that should never have to exist.
Right. It's a traumatic experience that you wouldn't think that they have to experience.
And nor should they have to.
Should they? Right.
Never. So let's talk. We're going to be talking today about the evolution of the mask.
Yes.
The evolution, that's an epic graphic right there. Right.
It is. Yes.
Let me tell everybody who you are. And you said it in a nutshell here. And I kind of like just the simplicity of this wording. I'm here to inspire people to remove the mask to be the better versions of themselves. You help empower amazing people that are going through trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have with us today Sheena Goodine, and she's going to be helping us unmask some of the things that we're experiencing from a traumatic perspective. All right. So talk to us, Sheena. Who are you? You came here before. Tell us what you told us about last time and what brings you here today.
Well, I'm here to expand. Like, when I first came here, I was telling everybody they had the mask on and how that they have to get comfortable in their own skin. Through my journey from there to now, which is about to be 5 years, I've now evolved into my own self of being authentically me. And everything that I do through poetry, I've done it through me. So now I put it in a book to inspire people to take that walk, because it feels so comfortable to be comfortable in your own skin and not feel that, oh, someone judged me because of this, and it makes you feel embarrassed or shame or,
Right.
it's uncomfortable. I'm comfortable with who I am. And that's why it's called the evolution of the mask, because I show up authentically, unapologetically me.
That's so good. That's so good. But and you know what? That's almost like you said, an evolution, coming to a realization
Yeah.
and an acceptance. I know some things make you feel more free. I never would have thought that, but just for example, I'm using just my hair for example.
Right.
Simple thing. But you all can put in the comment section what makes you feel more exhilarated, free. I usually have perm in my hair, and my hair is really huge and thick. But I took some scissors and just cut all the chemicals out.
It looks beautiful.
Thank you. And I love it. But I also love big hair, hot curls. I don't want to be I want to be transparent. I love big, hot curled hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I found out there's some kind of like press or something I can do, blowout.
Yeah, it's called a blowout.
So eventually y'all gonna see me with my blowout. But
okay.
See how that worked, right?
You're gonna be slay.
Slay to the side.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think really helps pull out a person's authenticity? Is it stuff like that they're freeing themselves in certain areas? Or
it's things of that, but it's also working within yourself of the things we've been through.
Okay.
And being okay that you went through it, but healing from it, forgiving and being okay that it happened to me and I went through it. Like, prime example, I'm gonna use myself an example. I went through domestic violence. When I first went through it, it was traumatic. I had anxiety. I dealt with PTSD. I dealt with fear, depression, all these things that just felt heavy.
Right.
It felt like a lot. I felt like I had 20 tons on me. And, on top of that, I had 2 kids. So it's like I was a single mom dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety. That's a lot.
It is.
And as a woman, we wear many hats.
Yeah.
So that's more on top of more.
Yeah.
And it's like something had to change. So I decided that I had to go on this healing journey. I decided spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, I had to deal with my internal self and sit in my mess first. And a lot of times we are too afraid to sit in the mess and understand who we are truly behind the mask, because we show people faces. We put the smile on.
Whatever we put on social media is what
right.
It is.
I'm going to put on this image like I'm so happy, but yet you're crying in your bedroom and you're not truly happy. Or you're going to work and you still dealing with all this mess that you're still carrying on from childhood, from past relationships, from family members that did you wrong.
Right.
We have to remember that our healing process is not for anyone else. It's for ourselves. And I had to heal for me. So I decided to first begin forgiving myself and the people that wronged me and not hold on to those grudges. Because as we carry them, that's weight. You have to get rid of the baggage. You have to take the internal things that are holding you down. Because a lot of times our weight that we hold on is not body weight. It's the other weight. So once
emotional,
yes,
okay,
all those physical, emotional, mental, all those things we carry around, we gotta get it together. Because if not, you're gonna never feel peace. And being evolution of the mask and being unapologetically you and being comfortable, it feels so free.
Now that okay, so you've come to a place in life that people sometimes only dream of,
Right.
and they don't know how to take the initial step to, like you say, sit in it. So
Mm-hmm.
when you say sit in where you are and understanding the place that you're in life that even puts you here where you need this
Mm-hmm.
peace and evolution,
Mm-hmm.
how how do people sit in it? Like when you say sit in it,
Well,
sometimes when people are sitting in stuff, they're wallowing in pity party mode. So you don't want them to sit in it. You want them to keep
no,
moving.
I want you to get in it. So first you got to start at the bottom. Like, all right, this is where it started at.
Okay.
You know, this is why I like me. I had my own complex of why I was settling for things, and I had to sit in that and figure out why I
Okay.
was allowing the settling things, and why was I dealing with the people that I was allowing to just be in my life, because everybody don't deserve a seat at your table. So you
Hmm.
got to learn what your worth is, who you are, what makes you happy. Like I dated myself to understand what I like.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, you got to learn to be comfortable being by yourself.
Okay.
You know, you got to understand what makes you happy, not who, what. And that means from yourself, not from anyone else. Spiritually, you have to have faith over fear. You know, mentally, you got to mentally take all that garbage that's in your head or that you're allowing to sit in there, and you have to take it out. Like, you have to sit and ask yourself questions. What's positive and negative are you going to allow in your space? You know, what you eat and digest is what stays with you. What you fill your brain with is what sits with you. You know, so being able to dissect the positive and the pros and cons of who you are is where you start. If you got to make a list of what are your goals for yourself, you know, what do you want to get better at? Is it loving yourself, your happiness, your bond with yourself? Because some people are afraid to be comfortable with themselves. You
Mm.
know, some
I'm
people not
typing what
even
you're saying here.
some people are not okay sitting in the mirror just vulnerably naked.
Mm.
And sometimes we have to just get naked with ourselves and say, all right, what shells do I need to take off that's heavy right now?
Okay.
What's within me that I need to fix, and not have nobody else fix it, not nobody else giving me happiness, not nobody else doing. You have to do the work, and it has to be something that you're internally happy with.
Woo! So you right down my alley, Sheena. I wrote a book too called Extreme Balance Makeover when I was
Mhm.
the NBC expert on teaching people these balance tips. And one of the things I talk about is just being able to have just a blank sheet of paper. I'm
Mhm.
big on don't worry about
Mhm.
having all of this fancy stuff. You can get
Right.
a blank sheet of paper, draw
Mhm.
some lines on it. Like you say, put the pros and the cons of
Mhm.
what you are dealing with in your life
Mhm.
and dissect that thing down. Just
Mhm.
really say, okay, this is what my issue is. How
Mhm.
do I get a resolution to so that I
Right.
stop dealing with this constant drama in this one area of my life?
Mhm. Right.
And there are solutions, but you have
Mhm.
to identify, first of all, assess the situation.
Right.
I love this. So I'm starring some of the stuff over here that you're saying. Right now, everybody that's tuning in, we're talking with Sheena Goodine, and she is talking to us today about unmasking ourselves and becoming our authentic selves. One of the things she said is, why am I allowing this in my life? Why are
Mhm.
we allowing certain things in our lives? Put some comments so we can pop your comments up. What makes you get drawn to the drama? You know, date
Right.
yourself, date yourself, dissect. You said dissect the pros
The
and
pros and
cons
the
of
cons.
your life. These are some great notes, everybody. I hope y'all are sharing this broadcast with your friends and your family. Don't deprive people of what's happening here today with Sheena here on the Kim Jacobs Show. We're going to take a commercial break. And Sheena, when we come back, oh, I don't know what direction we want to go in because this is good. I think we keep going right here.
That's fine.
Let's just keep right here for a minute. What are some steps people can take when they're sitting in it, they're dissecting, they're reflecting? How are they going to go about implementing these things? Because
Okay.
it's one thing to understand it, to write it down,
Mhm.
but how do we start applying these tips and strategies that you're sharing today to be able to get to the other side of the equation? Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back to hear more from Sheena. We'll be right back.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
All right, everyone. We are back and talking with Sheena Godine here today about how to unmask ourselves and be our authentic versions of ourselves. Let's see, some comments did come in. I want to take a moment and acknowledge some of those so they don't get too far down and we didn't get a chance to see them. Let's see. Mackenzie, let me get my glasses. Mackenzie, pop the comments up for me, if you will, backstage. And let me grab my glasses. All right, let's see. That is God. He protected your son. Yes, he did, and I'm grateful for that. Very grateful. And let's see. Other comments. Lord knows I'm nervous for even my 2-year-old going to preschool next year. Yes, and you know what? I'm a big believer that the Lord is ultimately watching, and he knows what's going to be allowed and not allowed in our circumstances and situations. And this is Kim's personal views, y'all. This is not the views of the Kim Jacobs Show, just so we know legally that's not the case. This is my personal belief that I personally, let me let you know what Kim Jacobs personally believes. Whether I live on this earth or I die from something that happens to me on this earth, which will happen anyway, because that's going to happen, I win regardless in life. So I don't feel like if those that live won and those that died lost and all, I feel like I win regardless, because at the end of the day, I know heaven is my eternal resting place. So that's Kim's personal opinion. Okay. Just so y'all always know my philosophy. So I don't think there's a lose situation in situations like this. It's just unfortunate because you have people that lives are being taken and their families are being left here to grieve their loss on this earth, which didn't have to happen, because we just could have come up with other solutions for mental breaks and mental health crises that's happening around our world. We don't know what people are dealing with. And I don't believe that everything comes because of bad parenting. That's also, this show is about how we balance our lives. I could talk all day. Let me keep the focus. Okay. So yes, I know you're nervous, and a lot of parents are, Mackenzie. Thank you for that comment. Yes. And we're praying for all of our children. Other comments. Let's see. Sheila put some purple hearts. I see you. Love to you, Sheila, as well. Thank you for tuning in. And Sheila has a show as well, so make sure you all check her out. Cynthia Lennox has a show, The Cynthia Lennox Show. She says, stop making excuses in order to please people. Just be yourself, all unapologetically. Talk about that for a quick second. I know we're going to go into implementation, but just talk about that comment.
About people making excuses. A lot of times they that's what you call a people pleaser. They want to please everyone and never say no. And it's about them internally, because they feel that, well, if I don't say yes, then they might not like me. Or, it's that persona of trying to get people to be more favor of you and not be mad at you. But you shouldn't be afraid of anybody being mad. Learn the word no. I did.
And no is a word. No is a statement. It's just, hey, no.
It's just no.
You don't have to put any parameters surrounding the word no. If you don't want to do something, no.
Right.
But I am definitely not that person. I'm the person that would say, no, I'm not able to do that, but I know this person right here can, and I'm going to refer them to the situation for you. Or I may say I can't do it on this day because genuinely I might not be able to do it that day. But I can do it on another day, and I offer that as an alternative. So I try to give options if possible.
Sometimes what it is people think that they're obligated to have your time. And sometimes we have to learn the word no, because we have to have time for ourselves when you're always giving.
One of my other guests is probably going to talk about that this week too. She's coming on. Her name is Focus James, and she'll be on this week also. But talking from that perspective is just putting boundaries in place that honor what you need to be able to have it for yourself. Yeah. And like I get communications all throughout the day, night, midnight, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever. But I respond based on whenever it's the appropriate time for what works for my life.
Right.
So even though I can't necessarily control what other people are doing, I implement strategies that work best for me with my self-care and my
Mhm.
life management in order for me
Right.
to keep my sanity, you know?
Yeah. Listen, yes.
So Cynthia said that. Okay, any other comments? So we're gonna keep on moving. What do you do about backstabbing family members? Is that what they're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's
Go
saying.
ahead, Sheena.
That's what it's saying. Listen, when it comes to backstabbing families, because we all have them, you have to set the boundary. If they're toxic, sometimes family members have to go. That means you have to set that boundary and you have to cut that out of your life. Unfortunately, it is a family member, but if it's toxic, it's not meant to be within your peace. Because if you allow the toxic, they're going to continue to be toxic. If you
But
allow them,
how do you do that? Like how? Because
you,
I want to hear how you would recommend doing that, Sheena.
well, I mean, a lot. I'm the cutoff girl. I'm literally, I am
Okay,
like,
let's role play. We need to role play for a second, 'cause I am not visualizing what you're saying. So let me role play. I'm the family member. You're
Mhm.
the cutoff queen. Okay, so
Mhm.
you're the actual cutoff queen. Let's go.
Mhm.
Okay. Uh, what, Sheena? Okay, so I every time I talk to you, my turn to you. Okay, so every time I talk to you, you always got so much to say about everybody else, but really at the end of the day, you got some drama going on in your own life. You need to stop trying to tell everybody advice and focus on what you have going on, Sheena.
Well, Kim, I understand how you feel, and I love you, but unfortunately, I don't have time to deal with any of the things that you're dealing with. So this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna stay in my lane, and you're gonna stay over there, and you don't have to call me. You don't have to talk to me until you're ready to talk to me with, like common decency. Because like you said, I got drama, you got drama, so you can lose the number, you can lose the address, you can even lose who I am. But
Wait. Now you don't want, girl. I'm telling you, better be glad we on this thing right now. Come and tell you right now. You mean to tell me that because I'm disagreeing with you, that you're gonna cut me off, and you telling me to lose your number and lose your
Well,
address?
see, we've been having a lot of back and forth, and I'm in a different stage in my life.
Mhm.
And my stage where I am is a lot of peace, and you've given me a lot of toxicness. And we're going to agree to disagree. So until we can have a better term of how we speak and how we come at each other as family, and I feel that, you've been doing a lot of back talking and backstabbing and underhanding. Well, no, I don't need to be your mama, but you're going to respect what it is over here. So thank you and have a great day.
You gonna hang up on him, Sheena?
Mhm.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting because that is a difficult thing to do when
It
you love
is.
when you
And
love
I had to learn that, you boundaries. And what it is family sometimes feel entitled. And the entitlement sometimes become too much. So you have to learn that, okay, you are my family, but I don't have to accept the toxicness. I don't have to accept what you feel. Everybody has an opinion. But my peace comes first. And
That's
if you're
good.
making toxicness over here, I have to put a limit to where it's going to come. And if it means we don't speak, we don't talk, we don't interact, I'm fine with that because I'm at peace. I'm happy and my kids are happy. If
Wow.
it's something interrupting over here, it has to go.
That's good advice. And I actually think that was, I think you did it well. I also, one thing that I know I do when I'm talking to people is I try to focus on the behavior,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the person and dealing with them personally, because it's not a
Mm-hmm.
personal thing. It's
Right.
something that they may be going through
Right.
too, that they don't know how to deal with it and how to release it
Mm-hmm.
properly. So then they're just kind of venting on you.
Right.
And so
You become the attacker.
right. Even though that may
Mm-hmm.
not even be their intention.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, some space needs to happen.
And that's why I said when you ready and we can talk on better terms, we can talk. But right now, I'm not having it.
That's great advice, Sheena. Mackenzie said, "Girl, yes, my stepdaddy's mama. She done went to the stepdaddy mama drama. Okay, wanted to talk crap about my kind of parenting because I do things differently and I raise my children in off-brand clothing, and told me that I was a bad mom.
Mm.
Literally, I cut her off, and she wants the audacity to still ask for my son to keep him. Girl, she said, girl, yes. She agreed with you, Sheena. Mackenzie, now you know goodness well that the stepdaddy mama gonna want to
Right.
see the baby. So I don't know if you want to dress him in some kind of Gucci or something that day and let him go with the baby stepdaddy mama.
No, unfortunately she shouldn't have to tone down who she is.
I'm totally joking.
No, I know. No,
totally
the thing is, no, especially if and that's the thing. People want to give parenting advice. Everybody parent different.
Right.
Long as they're not abusing the kid. Sometimes
that's for you, Mackenzie, and
right.
And the thing with that is the love for the child should not be based on anything
their clothes,
external clothing.
Right.
So hopefully you can make the main thing, which is the love for the child.
Yeah.
All right. You said I told them if they can't respect me, then they can't see my child.
Point blank. Period.
Anybody in the studio audience, if you're agreeing with some of this discussion or you have your own controversial angle or viewpoint, vantage point, please put it in the comment section. We'll be happy to pop it up. Also, I will put this link, since this seems to be a kind of hearty discussion that everybody's enjoying, in case you want to pop on screen and talk directly to Sheena, our expert today that's here talking to us about unmasking ourselves. Tell us about this book, Sheena.
Oh, this right here was awesome doing it, because when you go with the first book that I told you, The Mask Behind the Mask, where I went in there and I told you that you had masks on. That was poetry that I was going through with trauma. In the second book, I gave you the poetry to embrace yourself. This one was where I gave you poetries of titles of Enough, She Showed Up, being able to evolve from where you are to where you are now. It's like a glow. And you notice I put a picture of me on this book coming from behind the mask.
I love it.
Listen, and making this cover was everything, because the thing about it is me standing people, letting them know unapologetically I'm free of who I used to be. I'm not that girl anymore. And I'm authentically, evolutely became a better me, just walking through my trials and transformations. And, the poetry that I wrote is just like, she showed up, enough, I matter, only one me. Like, these things is just letting you know I'm who I am. I showed up, and this is who it is.
This is who it is, y'all. This is who it is. I hope you'll read us at least one of the
Absolutely
poems today before we end. For sure. I definitely want to make sure you all get a chance to understand that this woman has been through her own trauma. And you're coming on, Mackenzie? Unmute yourself. Oh, okay. I thought she was coming on to ask a question. People do pop backstage and want to ask questions and stuff. Feel free.
I'm game for all that.
Yeah, I love stuff like this. So please.
Yes.
On the Kim Jacobs Show, I want it to be where you get a chance to come on. You can ask live questions. And obviously, if you do not show your camera, let me be very clear. If you do not show your camera, I'm not going to pull you on the screen, period. Because I had an incident and I'm never going to let that happen again. Be unapologetically clear.
Right.
Don't show yourself. You don't come on the screen. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right. So when we talk about implementation, which I said we were going to talk about that after this previous commercial break, but what we're going to do is take another commercial break and come back and talk about how to implement some of these strategies.
Okay.
We'll be right back, everyone, right after our next episode sponsor.
Welcome to Confidence Tones, where we use a proprietary audio development formula called audio immersion to provide an experience that's designed to help quickly and effortlessly generate positive change in the subconscious mind when used correctly. This experience is achieved using 4 primary building blocks: brainwave modulation, invocation of positive emotions, immersive imagination stimuli, and developmental suggestion. We know of no other source in the world that provides the synergistic combination. With a good pair of headphones, you'll be able to immerse yourself into audio that's designed specifically to help you feel better, do better, and live better.
All right, everyone, we are back and we're talking with Sheena Goodine, who's talking to us about how to unmask ourselves. And she's doing a masterful job of talking to us today. How do you go from sitting in it, dissecting life, analyzing the pros and cons of your life, to being able to implement some of these strategies to truly unmask and live unapologetically?
Well, the first step I took after figuring it out and understanding and dissecting, and also I went through therapy too. So it wasn't just me. I also took some therapy and, because sometimes we all can't figure it out. So, gotta go talk to people, get some other information going.
Whatever it takes.
You're right. So, between doing that, I just started implementing, like, my first thing about learning what made me happy was my affirmations. My affirmations is something I started giving myself to make myself feel better, of knowing that, I went through trauma and it wasn't my fault that I went through it, partially, because I took my part that I settled for it. The other half of where it happened to me wasn't my fault. And I had to remind myself that I was worthy of more than that. So reciting these things and giving yourself affirmations every day to uplift yourself and figuring out what made me happy. Like, I'm like, okay, I like to watch basketball and I like to cook. So my joy was, all right, let's go in the kitchen. And I started cooking and, let's cook with the kids and let's bake, just started doing things. And as I dated myself, I went to movies by myself. I went to concerts by myself. I went out to eat by myself, just sitting with yourself. And the more you do it, the comfortable it gets, because some people are like, oh, it's weird. It's weird.
I loved it recently. I didn't realize I would enjoy dating my own self so much. I'm like, hey,
it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And you really get to learn yourself. Like, I went to concerts to myself, and it's like, people's like, you really went to concerts by yourself? I said, after a while, when you offer your friends to go with you and you don't get an answer back, or they might not have the money, it's like, listen,
I'm going.
I'm just gonna go by myself. I want to go. I'm going. Like, I wanted to go see a concert and I offered people to go, and either they didn't have the money or they didn't, they were doing, I said, okay, I'm going. And they like, you went by yourself? Yeah, I went to go by myself. I went to go see Miguel. That was an awesome concert.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't done the whole I haven't done the concert thing by myself yet because I had my mom with me one day. But what I did do was I went to the movies by myself. And for me, that was huge because I hadn't done that since I was 18 years old. I literally always have been with someone at everything until my early 50s. So to go to a movie and say, I'm like, shoot, a couple of times the whole movie went into the theater and left the theater while I'm trying to wait for somebody to go with me in my new phase of my new normal of my life. I missed the movie at the theater, messing around, trying to wait to see when it's a good time for somebody else's schedule. I said, that will never happen again. I want to go see the movie. I get my popcorn, my drink, my little treats. I curl up just like I am leaning on somebody. One time I did lean too close to my neighbor. The movie was intense, Sheena. So I was leaning. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't even know you. I can't lean on you. I gotta get myself together here.
But just the ability to be able to do these things give you strength. And, as you can see, I have the picture called Strong. And we have to learn how to be strong on our own, because a lot of times we settle because we don't feel like we're strong enough. And I'm not saying that you have to be super strong or super like, oh, my God, I'm the strength. But just to have the strength to take these steps, take these steps that, okay, after I get this affirmation, after I go through the spiritual journey, that I'm going to be comfortable with who I am.
I love it. I'm
going to be comfortable in my own skin. I'm okay to say no to people that don't like the word no. I have the strength to know that I can do this, even though it looked like I can't. Sometimes we have to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. And the uncomfortable thing is to get uncomfortable, because if you sit uncomfortable, you'll never do anything different.
You better believe it.
And you won't grow. And
you're preaching, Sheena. You know that, right?
I know.
Yeah, you preaching. You know that. I think you know that. You can go on and get on a road tour and minister the gospel too. I want to make sure I put up your previous. This is your previous one, right?
Yes, that's the first book. Yes.
Okay, The Mask Behind the Mask.
Yes,
that illustration of that particular one.
Now with that, that's when I call that was my baby steps. That's when I first came out. I just went through domestic violence. I just went through a whirlwind, and in that book, I was talking of, my walk through mental, physical abuse, verbally, mentally. And it was a lot. It was heavy in that book. I talk about being a warrior strength, being, knowing, not allowing people to change your character, because going through a traumatic thing can change who you are. Yes. And it can change you for the better, or it can change you for the worse. And during this process, I wanted people to know that, you went through trauma, but it doesn't have to change you for the worse. And it can make you a better person. So I took my domestic violence story to enhance it for people. To whereas, I walked through the trials and tribulations, but my tribulations made me grow into a authentically better person. I didn't take that story and let it scar me for life. I use my scars as a beautiful butterfly to help people grow in a better transformation. Going through, when I went through this process and I went through this program called Unity House, I've seen many people, they still were mad, angry, and just holding all of that in. And that's just not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be able to be smiling and happy and, being this powerful woman that I am now. The destination from being where I was now with the mask behind the mask to being the powerful woman that speaks up for the women that can't speak for themselves, or the women or the children that can't authentically be themselves. I'm the one teaching them how to take that walk.
Wow.
In that book, I talked about the word power, and power holds a lot. And if we don't know what our power is, it can be a fearful thing, because then you stop and you self-sabotage yourself. You get stuck. You get stuck in that transformation of going through trauma, not uplifting yourself, letting yourself down, and getting into a depression to where you never get better. Because mentally it takes a toll on you. And if you're a mother, it's a lot, because your kids is going through this with you. And in my thought, I had to do something better because they're watching. I needed to step up as a mother, a daughter, a sister, a friend, for anybody that needed to know that there's a power and you have to take it back. Just because someone felt that they defeated you, you have to show them how strong are you after the storm.
That's good. Domestic violence hotline, everyone, for in the United States. I know that this show streams in 100 countries, so you would need to check into your own local country for your domestic violence hotline. But here in the United States, it's 800-799-7233. Again, that's 800-799-7233. Make sure you all reach out to get any help that you may be dealing with in a domestic violence situation. Now, how did you get free? Because not every person that goes through domestic violence is here to tell their story. How did you get free?
It's crazy, because I thank God every day. I could have been dead, honestly. Like, I was threatened a lot. I've got stalked through this process. But I left. Like, I literally left the house that I was in. And I went to this program. I got the person arrested. I did the order of protection, and even through that process, I got stalked even after the order of protection. So I can say by the grace and mercy, I'm alive, to be honest. Did I know I would survive it? Honestly, no. And, to have someone that constantly pops up everywhere you are, someone to threaten your life and say that they will cut your throat and, literally be dragged and choked in your sleep. I only can say by grace, because I even remember going back in my house and lifting up my mattress and to see that there was 2 box cutters on there. That means I could have been dead any time of the day. Because
so it wasn't just a false. It wasn't just a false threat.
No,
it was something that you had a proof source to see that the intention was there.
It was there
behind the comments, the threats.
Yes. And I just say by grace, literally, I took the steps of calling the cops and going to the shelter and things. And it could have went either way. It just wasn't my time, and God he had more work for me.
Thank you.
So by grace.
And I'm glad that he graced you to be here to share the story here with us. Actually, according to the OJP.gov, and this is in 2021 statistics, so it may, I'm sure, significantly higher. Of the estimated, there are 4,970 victims of murder and non-negligent manslaughter the report says that here that 34% were killed by an intimate partner.
Mhm.
And overall, 76% of female murders and 56% of male murders were perpetrated by someone that they knew as a victim. They were known to the victim. So
Mhm.
this is like, these are alarming numbers that people are, about 4,000 women die each year due to domestic violence, and of those, 75% of those victims were killed by someone that they attempted to leave a relationship with,
Mhm.
or after the relationship had already ended.
Mhm.
That's staggering to me.
It is. It is. Like when I first was about to put this book out, I was nervous. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to let fear be the reason why I don't put my book out. Because, one, because like I said, I moved from the apartment where I was in. I moved from the area I was in because I was getting stalked. But I didn't allow them to have the power. I chose to use my voice.
Wow.
I chose to stand up for the people that can't speak.
Y'all, please share this broadcast. Do you know how many women and men are out here that need to hear this message of being able to remove the mask? Removing the mask, y'all. And this was her first book, The Mask
Behind them.
Behind the Mask. The Mask Behind the Mask. And you talk heavily about your backstory in that book. The other book that you just recently released is The Evolution of the Mask.
But it's a middle book that you probably don't have the cover to, but it's called Unveil the Broken Pieces of a Mask.
What? Okay,
Yes,
Unveil the
broken pieces of a mask.
Pieces. Well, talk to us about that one.
Now, in that one is where I then, I took my major hat because I have a BA in sociology. So it's like, now let me work through the things that about embracing ourselves, because the first book I told you had a mask on. So now it's time for me to help you break those pieces off, and in that book, I give the poetry of embracement and understanding yourself and fighting for who you are. And I give you questions in there. I give you a journal in the back, because now I want you to work on what you're dealing with. I'm giving you powerful words through poetry, but I'm giving you questions to ask yourself in the midst of it. I'm giving you affirmation to help you go through this storm. And then I'm giving you a space to journal what your thoughts are.
Oh my God.
Work on you.
Okay, so people can really go on a journey with you.
Yes.
In this unmasking process. So let me put it up again. The domestic violence hotline, 1-800-799-7233. Thank you, Mackenzie Backstage, for popping that up again. And let me this is the first book that she has. I'm going to pop that up one more time. And that's The Mask Behind the Mask. Make sure you all get a copy of this, and I'll share with you how you can do that. I'm going to share this in between book that came as a second one that allows you to journal your thoughts and that allows you to have some action steps offered by Sheena Godine. And this book, I think I found the image now. I hope I ain't putting you're like, Lord, I hope I ain't putting nobody else's book. I think this is your book. Let me make sure. Tell me if this is right when I pop it up.
Yep, that's it. Unveil the pieces of a broken mask. And as you can see, I have the pieces on there for you to shed those pieces off while you're working through the hurt, the depression, the insecurities, the fear, because you have people that go back because they're fearing of, sitting certain things financially, house, or, different things, or because of the kids and why they want to go back. But we have to remember that you left for a reason. You know what your worth is, and you have to work through what's going on.
So when you left your domestic violence situation, was there no turning back? And did you have your children?
Family? I had my kids, and I wasn't going back. That it was my life and my kids' life was worth way more than what they were trying to make it worth. Wow. And that's not love. That's not what love looks like.
Whew, okay, and then this third book, which definitely is not going to be the final, because it's clear
no.
that is ever evolving, is The Evolution of the Mask, and that's you back in the background there with the mask being evolved. And in that book, you want readers to walk away learning what?
I want them to learn that, you stand in your truth. You have the power to take your power back. You have a voice, and it matters. You are enough. You are here to stand in who you are authentically and unapologetically, with any fear of judgment, shame, or anything else. You are you.
You are you.
You are you.
I love it. I love it. Listen, let's see some of the comments from the studio audience. If we can, pop those on the screen, Mackenzie, please. Wow. Some good stuff you're saying, Sheena. Great tips. Let's see. My mom always told me to put whatever boyfriend's name in the love is patient Bible verse. That's a good idea. I love that advice that your mom gave. Put your name so we can acknowledge you. And if he doesn't meet those,
let him go. Amen.
Love is long suffering, then let him go.
Amen.
Great advice, mom of the Facebook user who we don't know the name of yet, but we'll figure it out. Okay, who other comments? This is great. Y'all are very active participants too today. Oh, my Aunt Irma is on. My Aunt Irma is one of my
Hi, Aunt.
This is a blessing to so many as a social worker, and she's been a social worker for like 30 something years, however many years, retired in the social work field. I have seen so many who suffer with domestic violence, and she's helped so many people seek shelter, provide resources for people and families. And my aunt is an amazing resource herself. She is like a walking resource. So thank you, Aunt Irma, for being here today. Okay, who else? Please let people know, share the broadcast. Let's see. Anybody else have comments? Let's see. I thought I saw Nikki Ziegler on here, and she is a queen in her own right. She has Herpreneur Network, and y'all.
I used to be a herpreneur.
Herpreneur is everything.
I was a herpreneur ambassador.
What is it?
I said I used to be a herpreneur ambassador.
Way to go. No, you don't need to be used to be. You need to be current. Get back over there, right? Let's see. Mackenzie said, I typed that. I don't know why it didn't show my name. Okay, Mackenzie, great advice. But Sherry Venor Cloud said that. Chloe said that.
Oh, okay.
Cherie Vance Vanoy. Miss Cherie Vanoy Cloud, you know what you're talking about, woman.
Yeah. Amen.
Any other comments? All right. Listen, we're happy to have you all in the virtual studio audience. And my Aunt Irma said hello. I know Nikki Ziegler has been commenting as well. I can't see all of the comments over here. She said, hey, Queens. Hey, Queens. Hey, Nikki. All right. Listen, we'll take another commercial break. And then I would love to hear one of your pieces from your book, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And I can also tell you what else I do besides just authoring. So absolutely.
Yes, please tell me. I want to hear a piece, and I want to hear what else you do and pop some more pictures up.
Absolutely.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back, everybody.
Who are those people? You know, the guys playing golf in the middle of the day on a Tuesday. The woman wearing $1,000 shoes at a cafe in the city. The kid in the ripped jeans driving a $200,000 sports car. What do they know that you don't? One word: leverage. Working smarter, not harder. Owning their own business, not being owned by a job. The good news? We have it. Interested?
All right, I'm actually going to play the other piece of that same commercial because they kind of go together here. So the next one as well, Mackenzie, if you can play that one right quick. Thank you.
Two things are almost certain about you. Number one, you know people who travel. Of course you do. Everybody travels. It's an $8 trillion industry. It's what people dream about doing. And number two, you probably aren't making the commission. You see, every car rental, every hotel, and every resort pays commissions. They may go to a website or to a traditional travel agent, but trust us, someone is earning it. Well, what if we could show you a way to put that commission in your pocket? It doesn't hurt to take a peek. Interested?
All right, everyone, we are back and we're talking with Sheena Goodine. And if you're interested in learning more about those two entities in the travel industry, you can email trueyougetaway@gmail.com, trueyougetaway at gmail.com to learn more. All right. Read us a piece of your work.
Absolutely. And I picked out today, Say It Out Loud. Let me hear you say it. Yes, I'm unstoppable. Yes, I'm determined to be successful. Yes, I'm powerful. No matter the amount of times you have fell down, you've gotten back up again and again. No matter the amount of times you were told you were nothing and never going to be anything, fight to be what God has designed for your purpose. Remember, everyone that tries to knock you down is only trying to destroy you because they were afraid of the light that was shining brighter than them. Remember, everyone that didn't think you would be blessed is less than anything more than like a star. Know that the power is inside of you and you're bigger than what they say. Let me hear you say it. Yes, I made it. Yes, I'm standing. Yes, I'm claiming that it's all mine. We have a different journey. We have a difficult struggle and we have different pain, but we're overcomer against all the storms. At the end, we still survived our journey from trauma. We still survived our journey from depression. We still survived our journey from self-sabotage. We still survived our journey from the lack of confidence. Don't let the struggle be the barrier to stop you from being the best version of yourself. Don't let the mindset be your setback. Don't let your environment keep you from the same struggle. Don't let the lack of knowledge be the barrier of restrictions of why you're not knowledgeable of who you are. Let me hear you say it. Yes, I'm stepping up for the task. Yes, I'm stepping up for my purpose. Yes, I'm stepping up to be that bright star that I am. Be encouraged to the ones that come behind you. Be a role model to the one that is watching you. Be a hero for the one that don't know that they have the courage to step into their purpose. Let me hear you say it. Yes, I'm phenomenal. Yes, I'm powerful. Yes, I'm amazing. Never let anything stand in your way. Let me hear you say it. You are overcame. You have showed up. Why you didn't have the strength to it. You have to rise above the things that came to defeat you. You have to speak up for the individuals that can't speak for themselves. You have to show the courage and the bravery when you think you don't have it. You have to walk through the storm that no one else can survive. You have the power. You have the strength. You have the courage to be brave, to stand up to any storm. To be happy, you have to be the strength and to be brave through it. You have the ability to become a better version of yourself. Let me hear you say it. I have the strength and the power.
Y'all, that right there is everything. Everything. Wow.
That's why it's called Let Me Hear You Say It.
So everybody in the comments section, type, let me hear, what do you want to type?
Let me hear you say it.
Let me hear you say it. Let me hear you say it. Somebody type that in the comments section. If you are prepared to stand up, live unapologetically, be authentic, get from behind the mask, let us hear you say it. I gotta put myself back over here. You know how you used to being on one side? Mm-hmm. I'm like, where am I? You know, you used to what you used to, right?
Mm-hmm, right. Absolutely.
That throw everything off. You make one little change, be like, I'm not seeing her on the right side. Oh, let me hear you say it. Somebody type that in the studio audience. Okay, talk to us and tell us how people can stay connected with you, and then tell us some other things that you do.
Well, one way you can stay connected with me, I have my website, which is www.sheenaunmaskingmotivation.com. You can also get in contact with me on Facebook, which is my first name, last name, Sheena Goudine, which is spelled Shana, last name Gourdine. You can also email me at sgoudine16@gmail.com or sheenaunmaskingmotivation@gmail.com.
Okay, so there's an E after your name there, and it's not on here, right? So
what on Goudine?
Yeah, I got to put it. I'll make sure I make the correction on this end because I don't want anybody to not be able to find you. Because Sheena is the way it sounds is different than how it's spelled. So
yeah, it's spelled like Shayna, but it's pronounced Sheena.
Okay, there we go. That's it. Okay, I just want to make sure that you have the right way to stay connected with Sheena Goudine.
Yeah.
And podcast audio listeners, it's spell it again.
SHANAGOURDINE.
Yes. So make sure you all stay connected with her, follow her on all of her social media outlets, and get her books. I mean, they can get an autographed copy of the book right through you all here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. And where do they go to get the book? Because I don't see the
They could either go to my website or they can just contact me.
Okay, what's your website? One more time, I want to type
www.sheenaunmaskinmotivation.com. Sheena Unmasking Motivation.com.
Unmaskingmotivation.com. Y'all make sure you get a copy of these 3 books that she has, and that way you can read them in chronological order. You can write and journal in them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Sheena Unmasking Motivation.com.
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell us some other stuff that you do. I know you want to go to Africa as one of the fitness items. The Kim Jacobs Show can't send you to Africa right now, but we can pray as you go on your journey.
Listen, one day, definitely the goal is to be out there and, go and love on them over there. Because, I do a radio show out of Nigeria as well, out there. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm saying it in a playful way, but you never know. There may be somebody, let me go ahead and put this up here, that wants to donate to the Kim Jacobs Show, and you believe in this broadcast and this programming, and you're like, Kim, we're going to pour in enough to you to send. You go to Africa, you go to Africa, you go to Africa,
right.
You go get this, and you get that, and you have this dream come true, and you get this dream. So guess what? God is capable of doing anything to blow our minds. If you want to donate to the Kim Jacobs Show, which I encourage you to, because we come on Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a lot of coming on live, giving you all some great experts to teach and train you, right? So make sure you can donate at Cash App, Kim Jacobs Inc., or you can send to PayPal by saying paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. You can also send it through Venmo at The Kim Jacobs Show, or you can become a Patreon member, and we do exclusive backstage after party stuff and things that we never put on the general public pages. Patreon.com/The Kim Jacobs Show. Become a Patreon member with us. All right, tell us some other stuff you do.
Well, I with Sheena Unmasking Motivation, I actually go to the shelters, and I work with about 5 shelters right now, and I go there and I work with the women and the kids and whoever's at the shelter. And I go there and I do workshops with them. I do self-confidence building. I do, trust issues. I just do workshops with them to help build up who they are. Because like I said, I took that journey and I know how it is, when you take that walk and you feel like you feel alone. Because, you going through this process and your friends don't understand it because they didn't walk through it. So I go there as a person of going through the trauma to show them that I was where you are and this is where you can show up at. You just got to do the work and I'm here to help you. So, I go do workshops with them as far as confidence building, self-empowerment, teaching them how to trust again, walking them through that trauma of healing.
Good. And now these pictures I have here, tell me.
Yeah. I actually just won. That was through the YWCA, one of the nonprofit organizations I work with. But I just won in March the Art and Cultural Award through the YWCA for Women Empowerment. I just won that this year.
Awesome.
And that's me and my beautiful daughters.
Those are your daughters?
Those are my daughters.
They're so beautiful and look so proud of you. They look so happy to be your daughter. What is this?
I was actually doing a vending event, vending my beautiful books, all my hard work, out at work.
And all of those are your books?
I'm all of them are not mine specifically myself, but I've have things that are in them, so I'm part of the anthologies as well.
Okay, so each of these some of these are anthologies, but
yes, that are on that table.
The books that I'm a part of, I consider those my books too.
Yeah, they mine. So. They mine. So those are a few of the 38 I've been in.
Wow. So you literally do have a passion for writing.
Yes. I was at the school. So I go to the schools too. And with my children's book that I did with my daughters, which is called The Power of Me. I was in my daughter's class reading to the kids there and empowering them to know that their dreams can be big. And, you got to start with the future. So I go to the schools and I teach them to dream big and to understand that the power is within them, and for them to know that they can be the president of the United States. They can be a lawyer, a doctor, regardless of their circumstance or where they come from. So, I do that as well with Sheena Master Motivation. I go to the schools. I do after school programs. I think I've done about 20 schools so far. Now, this is the upcoming book that is coming that I'm about to do. This is book number 6, children book number 2. But with this, it's going to be about the babies, It's come and learn your A's to Z with me. But it's not the normal A to Z. You learn your big and your lowercase and you learn the word ant. With this is going to be A's for ant, but A's for amazing. B for ball, but B's for bravo. C's for cat, but C's for courage. So it's always another affirmation with it so that you're getting the encouragement at a young age, starting to learn bigger words early. So my journey is to inspire them early as possible to get that affirmation in them, because maybe it's not coming from anywhere else. So if I'm there to plant that seed, let me do it now. Why not?
Oh, and how can people get a copy? I know it's coming soon, so can people pre-order it on your website?
I'm looking to probably drop that next month, so I will definitely have it out and they can pre-order it. It's gonna be on Amazon. It's gonna be pre-ordered, and then my goal is for it to be out next month. But it's done. I just have to put it out. Look, slow it down a little bit and put that one out too. But my goal is to empower people that be the best version of themselves, because so many times we let life self-sabotage ourselves. Like, on top of the fact is that I went through domestic violence, I deal with 5 different health conditions, and I've learned to show up in the midst of all of it.
Wow. So 5 diagnoses that you have, in addition to experiencing domestic violence, in addition to being a mom, in addition to being an author or collaborating author in over 38 books, and
more to come.
More to come. This children's affirmation, confirmation, A to Z book.
Mm-hmm.
What do you attribute your still standing mindset to, in your opinion?
I would definitely say my strength is just my kids. Being able to show them unapologetically how to show up, regardless of what you've been through, regardless of what's thrown at you, regardless of the cards you may be dealt. It's possible to overcome all of those storms. It's possible to know what your dream is and be dedicated to it. Know where you want to go and put the fight in for it.
Wow. All right. Yeah. I mean, we have to get ready to close, unfortunately, here. But this has been a great episode, and I really would love for you to be one of our Freestyle Friday experts. And what that means is you get to come on and have a panel discussion with a few of the other experts, and we talk about topics that matter to the community. And I would love to be able to hear your feedback on some of the topics that we would be discussing on some of our Freestyle Friday experts.
I'll be honored.
So that's just, you're amazing.
Thank you.
My Aunt Irma typed and she said, "Let me hear you say it." She typed that. And my sister is on, Felicia, and she said, "I love the purpose of that book. My son is older, but we will be getting it because there's always room for motivation and growth." Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead. You need to put that on your website as a pre-order because people want that. I can tell you.
Yeah, I may as well go upload that today sometimes, but yeah.
All right. So you all stay. Thank you, Felicia, for being here. And also, I just want to thank you too for your inspiration, Felicia, that you allowed me to come to a conference this past week in Florida and experience something that I hadn't experienced in learning about the travel industry. I enjoyed myself tremendously in watching you get honored and celebrated for your accomplishments. So I'm just really proud of you. And I just want to say thank you, Felicia. Okay, let's see. I already went through everything. I told y'all today's episode sponsor is Attorney Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. You saw the commercials already. If you're dealing with disability and injury, wrongful death of a loved one, workers' compensation, give them a call, 704-457-5000. And the Confidence Tone commercial that you saw, to get a pair of those Confidence Tones, you want to go to drjod.com/confidence-tones. And when you reach out to them, let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show did send you their way. If you're interested in learning more about the travel industry and the videos that you saw there, How are people doing some of these things? Email trueyougetaway@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to connect you to the appropriate resources. All right. That is today's episode. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking with a young lady about how to go from basically tragedy and different things that's happened to triumph. And you're going to be hearing from her tomorrow. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode. I can't wait to see you. Sheena, you are amazing.
Thank you.
I had a great time with you. Any closing comment? Closing comment.
Listen, be the evolution of the mass. Don't be afraid. Faith over fear. You can do anything you put your mind to. I started this 5 years ago. I'm now up to my own 6 books and 38 anthologies. You can do whatever you want despite the cards you're dealt.
All right, everybody. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. I see you, Felicia. You're welcome. Thank you. Love you. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon. Beautiful episode. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family